ladies and gentlemen, recently enough, we went to go see the Dungeons and Dragons movie in the cinema. And I have to say, walking into this movie, I was genuinely waiting. I was hoping. I was praying that this movie was going to be shit. I was like asking God. I was asking He who is most high. I was praying to Allah. Like, mashallah, assalamu alaikum to all my Muslim watchers.
Assalamu alaikum.
But I was praying that this movie was going to flop. That it was going to be shit. That I was going to have a good laugh watching horrible acting from Chris Pine and Hugh Grant. And, oh, God, this movie's going to be fucking awful. But I have to say, folks, first reaction for you is right now. This movie is good. This movie is really good, actually. And I think our judgment of Rotten Tomatoes was a little bit
A bit too harsh.
rotten. A little bit rotten, a little bit sour.
A little bit skewed after that, after going into Dungeons and Dragons. Because, now look, it's not a 90% movie. Let's get that out of the way.
Oh no.
It's not
100%,
90%.
not a 90% movie. Folks. No way.
It's 100%. No, I'm joking.
Fuck off, no, man. I'm not having my name to a 100% movie and it being Dungeons and Dragons.
Imagine.
For as good as
Imagine,
for as good as a movie as I'm saying it is right now, it's not 100%. It's not 90%. For me personally, it's not even 80%.
Scandalous.
Still can't deny it.
We'll get to the results in the end. But first.
Yeah.
Like, you made me think, what is this Dungeons and Dragons movie? Dungeons and Dragons is a tabletop game which uses license to make multiple games like Divinity and Baldur's Gate. So what is a Dungeons and Dragons movie constitute? Why is it called Honor Among Thieves? I don't understand. And the Honor Among Thieves bit is a bit but whatever. It can't just be called Dungeons and Dragons. Especially since there were 3 other Dungeons and Dragons movies 20 years ago. So, this movie is basically an adventure / heist movie with a party. Like in Dungeons and Dragons, you have a party of friends and companions, each of them inhabiting a different role or class in this fantasy genre, and they just kind of play it out to their certain stereotypes and also to their like to subvert these stereotypes in the movies. And coming in, as Owen said, I was thinking, man, Chris Pine as the main character. Of course he's playing the goddamn bard, like, Jesus. He's gonna be a funny man, haha. Singing and dancing, like, oh, what a load of shit. And I really enjoyed it. Chris Pine was actually funny. And I didn't believe Chris Pine could be funny. He's a good actor, but I don't think he's a great actor. But this movie definitely helped my appreciation for him, my understanding. And I was thinking, Michelle Rodriguez, like, I'm not a fan of her in Fast and Furious in the slightest. So seeing her in this movie, I was also, again, skeptical. And from the trailers, seeing Simon, he seems like such a mon in the trailers. And Zank, is that his name? Zank.
Yeah, Zang.
Seeing Zank, I was thinking these two are going to be awful. I actually really liked him. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that Zank was a decent character and that Simon was actually funny. And the trailers were the worst part of this movie. And normally trailers...
The trailers really fucking put this movie in the dirt, to be honest.
If the trailers were any good, people would have gone to see this movie. Because this movie is phenomenal looking. Like, let's get that out of the way. Visually, it's a masterpiece. It's not Avatar, obviously. But it is super good looking, because most of the movie CGI. You have monsters, you have all these magic, and not just that, but since it's the world of fantasy, you have all these different races. You have orcs, you have undead, you have lizard men, you have Khajiit cat people, and they all look great. And it's so nice to be able to see this in TV in high def without having to just scrounge around for some 20-year-old movie that looks disgusting. And some guys wearing cat suits or whatever.
Cat suits.
And Hugh Grant in this movie, I had no idea what he was going to be doing. I was like, what is Hugh Grant going to be doing? How is he going to add to the role or the party? And he was great. He was... Do we want to say what he was? Or...
you know, folks, we might as well put a disclaimer on it now.
Yeah.
I feel like we can't really talk about this movie without fully talking about this movie. So with that, folks, disclaimer out of the way. I feel like we just jump straight into this movie.
Spoiler alerting for Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. Oh.
Spoiler alerting, if you want to go see this movie, and look, right away, right out of the bat, I do believe everyone should at least go see this movie, just for the funny itself.
Yeah.
Just for the funny, they go see this movie. But
Hugh Grant is the villain. He has betrayed his party in a previous heist, and he has now risen to the rank of a high lord of a huge castle and city and lands. And he has also kidnapped Chris Pines' daughter because he's mental and he feels like he's a better dad. And it's
fella genuinely just said, I'll do it better. And just genuinely did it better.
Yeah, the fellow was like, you know what? This is kind of funny. I'll do it.
That's me, man.
Here you are, Hugh Grant.
I would do that. The bag comes first.
And he's just a very fun villain character. The movie has some serious elements to it. But it knows what it is. It knows it's a Dungeons and Dragons movie, and it doesn't hold itself to the John Wick seriousness. There's no like stoicism. No one's sitting here like brooding and thinking quietly and being all hard. Even like Michelle Rodriguez cracks a lot of funny jokes, like just like what's the word? Just like physical and silent humor. But Hugh Grant is a great performance. He's silly. He's goofy. Well, also he's never menacing, but he has let's just say his right hand woman. You can tell that she's pulling the strings, but he's just kind of following along because, you know, they both have an agreement. He gets paid and she gets humans to be able to kill and use that for an army undead, and that's a fair deal.
Oh, bear in mind, he doesn't know that.
Yeah, but he wasn't exactly torn up about it.
No, he knew the bag comes first, and I respect it.
he knew something was gonna happen. He just didn't really care what.
Fella just said, bag first.
Like he actually handed her the keys to the city at the end. He was like, "Oh, you can rule. I'm gonna go home."
No. Remember, she was like, "All right, get out of my city."
Yeah, and
He's
he
like,
was like,
"Yes, sir."
He was like, "Bye."
But I feel like we're jumping a little bit too ahead of ourselves now. We're speaking about the ending before we even speak about the start.
So let's just start off with the start, which is very. I love it because it's such a video game start. It's such a fantasy game start, and I love it. They're in prison. It's cold. It's dark, and they're trying to figure out a way out. And they go up.
A way out.
A way out.
Oh, dear God.
But you know, it takes two to get out. Oh no!
Nice reference. Nice callback there.
And so him and Holga, is it Holga or Olga?
Holga.
Yeah, Holga. Him and Holga go up, and you know, they're trying to get a pardon, and he's really trying to get his own counselor to show up, and you're like, you know, maybe he knows him or something. Like, why? Like he's trying to tell his heart-wrenching story, which is his life, and I actually thought he might be lying when I was watching it at the start.
I thought that as well. I thought he was lying. I thought they were going to call him out for it. I was thinking, that'd be so fucking...
Yeah.
That'd be funny, though.
Yeah, I think that would have been funnier. But I guess then the story wouldn't have it.
Yeah, they need to get their, like, main...
Yeah, they need to get, like, the plot out of the way without having to be too ham-fisted and too, like, soppy. So he tells the story, and... You know, the judges actually are brought to tears there. You see, he's got the green stamp, he stamps it, and he's like, alright, you know, he actually will grant him the pardon. But here comes Jonathan, the counselor they've all been waiting for, and he's just a huge bird man. And they grab onto Jonathan and jump out of the room, jump out of the big glass window up of a huge medieval tower. And he flies them to safety, unwillingly, by the way. He just doesn't want to crash in. Well, the judges already signed the pardon, and they're like, wait, you didn't need to go, like, we were going to let you go anyway. They're like, oh, we made it, we escaped. And Jonathan crashes and survives, thankfully.
Yeah, they really just said, oh, look, Jonathan's here. Jump out the fucking window.
They really were like, I've got a plan. And he was like, I've got a plan. Their plan is to grab a bird and jump out of the window.
We've done it. He's here. I do understand why they did it. I understand the whole backstory route, and the fact that Holga and what's his name? What's Chris Pine's character's name?
Edgin.
Edgin. Yeah, I understand why they had them together. You know, why they're friends or whatever. And I like the way it's almost like a Dungeons and Dragons style opening.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, the main characters, they're locked up in a cell and you need to try and escape.
And the level and the level one, they don't have any of the items, and you know, and they had them all in the past, but they were betrayed by the Vogue Forge. Yeah.
I do believe it's definitely a D&D style open.
Oh yeah.
Like any D&D game you start off with, you know, you're usually talking to like, what would you say, like the keeper of the board or whatever.
Yeah, the tutorial of the characters. Like even that Divinity Original Sin 2 opens with you're on like a penal ship, and you are being taken to a prison island. So like I loved it. Seeing that, I thought it was so good. And there's an homage to how a lot of Dungeons and Dragons games and just like adventures start. And you know, as it's an adventure, they need to gather up, you know, their squad, their characters. And I really liked Simon. I thought he was funny throughout the whole movie. I thought he was a funny take on a mage, like a mage that can't like use his magic to a full extent because he's just a self-conscious like young adult. Like that's just what he is. I think it's nice because in Magic they do touch on this. They explain it. Magic is very fast and loose in Dungeons and Dragons. Like it can do anything and nothing at the same time. So they're like, oh, like why can't you just like they have to get into the vault. So why don't they just magic it open? Well, he can't because there's a seal. Or why don't he just magic the seal? Why don't he just use all the spells he has? And it's like it's something that in a movie you do have to address because magic is so unlimited and yet it has these constrained limits. So like how do you explain it? And they explain it in a pretty fun way. And especially Simon being such a basically novice magician also helps to, you know, keep it like grounded. Obviously it's a fantasy movie, but let's say he was some top level wizard who could destroy anyone, then like if you have him in a party, he could just destroy everyone. It's GG's. Like, so it's nice that they actually figure out a fun and interesting way to have him be a helpful addition, but without being the main party member. Do you know what I mean?
No, 100%. I do agree with you there. I do think it was a nice change of pace, especially for movies, because they have their OP characters. Yeah. They have their, you know, their boss characters. To have someone like that, just a light, refreshing, crowd-pleasing character. Of course, I thought the whole movie was just going to be crowd-pleasing characters.
Yeah.
So to see actual, like, characters like that in a movie like this, you know, just a fun, normal movie. It was good to see. It was definitely...
I do think I really want to have it home the point that this is just a very fun movie. Like, this wasn't over the top action, blood, guts, and everywhere. This wasn't like surround. This wasn't some magnificent plot and this epic tale. It was just a fun, family-friendly movie with some cursing. A lot more shits than I expected. And it's a fun movie with just some fun fights and fun dialogue and just fun. Like, it's just a fun movie. And then, as you're progressing, as you're meeting all the characters, it's even more interesting. You meet Doric, I believe, and she is a shapeshifter druid, which is also very interesting. Her powers are very, very well done in this movie. Because
they are.
For the first half an hour, you know, the movie looks good, but you don't really get to see how much. You know, there's a scene where Simon inverts the gravity of the room, like not by mistake, but like in a moment of panic, and it's very interesting. He's walking on the ceiling upside down while the camera is still like the right way up, so it looks great. But then when Doric finally comes into the movie, that's when the budget and the camera like really comes into play. Because she can turn into a fly, she can turn into a cat, she can turn into a mouse. And there's a whole scene where she's sneaking into a castle, and it's just great. Where she's there from a fly, and she's trying to escape, hunted by wizards and guards. She turns into a mouse, she turns into an eagle, and she's dodging all the arrows. And then she lands as a cat, and it's just so nice to watch, because the camera makes these impossible shots, like going down a chimney, going through little nooks and crannies, doing like flips as well. Like, it's just super pleasing. Jesus Christ. It's super pleasing to watch. Yeah, I muted you on the thing, but because it's gone so loud, but that's fine now. But yeah, so I think when Doyle comes in, the camera really starts shining. The budget was high, but in my opinion, it was well worth it, because everything looks great. And I think if it didn't have these like unique shots and these unique scenes, I think the movie definitely would have felt flat, because it needs these set pieces, you know.
Yeah, you see, this movie heavily relies upon the way it looks,
Yeah,
the way it feels. Like, I hate to say it, the acting in this movie, it's good acting, but it's not amazing.
Oh
acting.
no, it's not like
none of the characters you could point at and say, no, that was a breaker, or that was amazing. Oh Jesus, get Chris Pine in the next 10 movies. That's not how I felt walking out of this movie.
No.
I felt like he was a good match for the character. He was definitely a good fit, but you could put 10 different other actors in there.
Yeah, you could put
same job.
Chris Pratt in there, Brad Pitt in there. Like, they'd all do the same thing.
Chris Hemsworth, you could literally put anyone in there. I feel like they do the job.
Yeah,
you know. Chris Pine, of course, he did the job. He did a good job.
He did a very good job.
Yeah. He did a good job in it, but this movie heavily relies upon the CGI, the visual effects,
and
the music, the
music
ambience. It relies upon all of it.
Yeah. I think another great scene is when they go to the graveyard and they're trying to figure out who stole the helmet. And Simon has the ability to raise the dead and ask them 5 questions, and only 5. And then he can never raise them again. So they're just going around asking multiple different like dead people, bringing them back and asking them questions. So people, they just completely mistake the questions. Hey, you should. We're talking about Dungeons and Dragons here. You better see this movie. They're talking about raising the dead, and they're talking about when they're talking to them, and how any question is a question. So they're saying, "Oh, how many questions do we have?" And the guy says 4 left. You know, and it's like, "Oh, are you sure?" And then 3 left now. So any question is counted. However, it's just very funny because it's not just a long dialogue scene and it's just exposition. It's a very nice way to show, because it's the backstory. They want to tell the backstory of the helmet and the battle, which led it to like going to Zinc. So instead of just showing the battle and whatever, it shows it from everyone's perspective. And some people, died heroically trying to get the helmet away. But one fella died falling out in the bathtub. He wasn't even in the battle.
Oh, that bit had me cackling. I hate them. That bit was probably the first time in the movie where I was like, oh, fuck. Oh. Just the way they had it filmed as well. Yeah. It looked so fucking... Oh.
Because it was like... And he was like, oh, my God. It was he's got the helmet and he's taken it to like Svensson because of a renowned warrior. And they lift him up and he goes, yeah, I died. It was a brutal death. Oh, so what happened? Oh, I don't know what the helmet is. I just fell out of my bathtub and cut my head off. Like, I wasn't even in the battle. This Svensson, he's my brother. I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah, that's my brother. Oh. You're not going to ask me more questions? No.
Yeah, Hubert, in case you don't know, we actually really like this movie.
I didn't really like this movie.
No, but you really like it. You did really like it.
I liked this movie.
I really like this movie. It's not 90%, but we really liked it.
You can say we all we want, but it doesn't mean... You must be French or something, man.
Yeah, so...
we.
Yeah.
Nah.
We actually, Hubert raised a good point. We got to mention, it is very rewatchable. This movie could have been titled anything. It's not, obviously it's a Dungeons and Dragons movie. It makes a lot of references and callbacks and talks about it. You can tell if you've played any Dungeons and Dragons game, or any fantasy game, really. You can tell that who is what class. But the movie doesn't dwell on that too much, and it's not important. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's there for fans who want to see it. If you love Dungeons and Dragons, you can obviously tell who's what class. They reference Baldur's Gate. They reference a bunch of different places, and you're like, oh wow, that's really cool. But you don't need to know any of this coming in.
No, you really don't. Bear in mind, I wouldn't call myself like the most avid D&D fan either. I've played through walkthroughs. Like, I've played 1 or 2 games. I wouldn't say like I know much about rules or anything to do with like different like franchises stepping out from D&D, you know, different games, like you said, Divinity, Baldur's Gate. I wouldn't have known anything like that. But I could walk into the movie and I knew the classes. They did a good job of explaining what the classes are.
Yeah. Without making it ham-fisted. It's not like, oh, this guy is this. It's just, you know, they might mention it offhand, but they're not going to, like, say, oh, we got the rogue here, we got the druid here. It's like, they'll mention it, and that's about it. Because as important as it is, it's not, that character isn't just what they are. Do you know what I mean?
Bear in mind, yeah, they didn't go around calling each other, like,
yeah, that would be super
Bard,
awkward.
Druid, hey, Mage, come over here. It wasn't like that.
Yeah.
If anything, they just went by their names, which is like a lot better for a movie.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what I was mainly concerned about walking into this movie. Is it just going to be like that? Is it just going to be like very hammy, very gamey, you know? Like,
yeah.
oh, Druid, we need to use your powers to get into the safe. Please, Druid, help us. Instead of just saying the character's fucking name.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, so I was just checking out the 2000 Dungeons and Dragons movie. Marlon Wayans was in that movie.
Marlon Wayans is not in the 2000 Dungeons.
He is.
How?
He is.
How?
That and Requiem for a Dream. Oh my.
That fella's been everywhere, man. That fella has actually been everywhere.
Marlon Wayans is like gone
Marlon
down.
Wayans also played Little Man.
Yeah. Oh. Marlon Wayans.
So you can't listen to you can't watch Marlon Wayans anymore. He's actually cursed.
He's been in
fucking
so
cursed.
many weird movies.
I'm telling you now, he must have like the worst agents in the world.
I don't think he has an agent. I think it's just him being like, oh, that's a funny movie.
I don't even think he says that. I think he just like,
But like, how do you do Vacuum for a Dream in 2000? And also in the same year do Dungeons and Dragons. In the same year.
I'm telling you, man. He just sees the bag. That's all he sees, and all he sees
But
is the
Vacuum for a
moolah.
Dream, it's not like these are Vacuum for a Dream had a budget of $4 million. There's no bag in that movie. I guess.
4 million though.
I guess if you think about it,
4 million.
yeah, it all goes to Marlon Wayans. Marlon Wayans and Jared Leto get all the money, and Jennifer Connelly.
4 million, but you know.
I guess you could say that he goes for the money in movies like Scary Movie and Big and Little Man, and Dungeons and Dragons. But his,
No, I was gonna say he works in his fantasies of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
He's doing it because he genuinely loves the.
I was gonna say his Wrecking for a Dream is like oh, this is an actual good movie I can be in. He's also been in like every Scary Movie. 1, 2, 4, 5. Norbit. What is he in Norbit? He had his own show. He had his own movie that was called Naked. My Netflix. What is this?
Oh yeah, no, I remember seeing something about that. Goofy ass fucking Netflix movie, but still.
Honestly, I wish Marlon Wayans was in this movie. That would have made it like ultimate tier.
Marlon Wayans as the little man.
Marlon Wayans, he's
that would have been good.
yeah, that's a good way to bring it in. Another good joke was bringing in the Holga had a husband, and she left her clan for the husband. She was exiled because she fell in love with this man, and she would do anything to be back together with him. She has to meet up with him because he broke her heart, and she needs to see what state he's at. And she meets up, and he's sitting down, and it's Bradley Cooper, and you're like, oh my god, Bradley Cooper's in this. That's crazy. And then you realize he's a dwarf, but he's not just a dwarf. He's a literal little man. And he has another wife, and she's so beat up, but I don't know, I just thought it was funny.
She's so beat up. She's so dusty.
She's like, oh my god.
This one is dusty, look. She is bet up. Yeah, I thought it was that was funny. The little man joke was quite funny. Having Bradley Cooper in it as well was a fucking weird one. A movie I watched recently, actually. Not pulling off topic here, but I watched Burnt recently.
Ooh, I haven't.
Burnt is a fucking class movie. Do you ever see Burnt?
No.
Ah, you must have seen Burnt.
It's got 28% Rotten Tomatoes.
Does it?
The Chef movie with Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
Yes, it's 28%.
Man, no. Rotten Tomatoes down the line. There, I saw this movie recently. This movie is fucking boss.
Oh shit, it doesn't seem good at all. A chef comedy?
Oh no, it's not. It's not comedy. No.
It says drama comedy.
Who the fuck is calling this a comedy?
Have you seen the movie?
They are hate bombing Burnt, man. They are hate bombing it.
That's what it's called on Netflix. It's a drama comedy.
Who's laughing at this movie? This movie has got like the trials and desperations of being like a Michelin star chef. Like all the challenges he faces. He's a drug addict. He's fueled by fucking meth. He has to take methadone every week.
That's funny.
It's not funny. It reminds me of like a Whiplash style movie. He's aimlessly trying to get his third Michelin star. We're not going to get off topic here, but Bradley Cooper now is really fucking good. Plays the chef, takes on like a Gordon Ramsay style role.
Is this movie just trying to be like Gordon Ramsay, but not Gordon Ramsay?
No. Yeah, it's literally Gordon Ramsay, but not Gordon Ramsay.
Bradley Cooper's in a lot better movies than Burnt.
I'm telling you now, man, Burnt is a fucking good movie. Don't write it off.
Limitless.
Oh, Limitless is such a boss movie. We're not talking about Bradley Cooper movies now. We're not. We're talking about Dungeons and Dragons.
I do want to touch on Dungeons and Dragons. Very important to note. We're talking how good this movie is, and Rotten Tomatoes has very high reviews, and this movie has been advertised everywhere. So naturally, it'd be a great box office hit. Except it's not, because no one's going to see this movie, which is weird. In the theater, it was actually kind of like it was like 30-40% full. Like there were people in this.
I was expecting nobody. I was expecting us to be the only people buying tickets for Dungeons and Dragons on Amongst Thieves. But no, people actually wanted to go see this movie. And not just like us.
Oh yeah. I do want to touch on. There was one woman sitting behind us that she was cracking up. Every single joke. She had to be like 13.
Fucking bossing herself.
Every single little quip was the funniest thing she's heard in her life.
I'm telling you now, she must have been paid for. She is a woman of the night, man. She was getting paid by the hour to sit there in that fucking movie and laugh. Whatever production company made Dungeons and Dragons definitely paid her off. She's like the living soundtrack, like the laugh track.
But I do want to mention that this movie had a budget of 150 million, which is a lot, but it also was basically mostly CGI. However, the box office was 180, which it covers the budget. But when they had a marketing of easily 50, 60, 70, probably 80, 90 million.
Ah, no, man. 100 million. Think about it. We talked about this by ourselves, folks, not on a separate podcast, so you don't need to go searching or scouring. We talked about separately about, the hit movie, King Arthur, The Legend of the Sword.
And that movie had 130 million in advertising alone. So
130 million, folks. 130 million. And you're telling me Dungeons and Dragons didn't put in the same amount of money?
I don't think it was the same. I do agree it's 100 million at least. Probably 150.
No, it's 100 million. It's the same price as Haaland. I swear to God, man. I saw more about Dungeons and Dragons than Haaland moving the city.
Yeah, but Haaland did go over 100 million. Haaland went for 60. He went to 60 because of his release clause.
He went to 60, but I thought that was 60 million pounds, so 8 million quid.
But he said 100 million. Damn, these are some crazy roundings you got here. No wonder you failed that goddamn stats exam.
Oh, rough one. Damn, I had to bring that one up on the pod.
I failed it as well, so no biggie. Well, look, it didn't break. However, it did do better than Morbius. Morbius had 167, and Dungeons and Dragons has pipped it by 13 million. However, Morbius also was half of the budget. So
we can't really talk about more about nothing like that.
yeah, and I don't see it getting more than 200. Because the movie's been out for a month now. It's going to hit a month in 2 days. So it's tough to say. However, it has been confirmed Paramount Plus has ordered a new show. Has ordered an 8-episode straight to streaming show from the director. And it's important to know, unlike, Knights of the... What the hell? King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, which is I hate that title. What an awful title. King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. That movie was supposed to start a franchise, 6-film franchise. This movie was never supposed to start anything. The director, producer, and writer was one guy. He said that it was just supposed to be one movie. However, he was asked to make a pilot, and he did it. And he's now producing it. And he's gladly doing it. He said that they'll probably be using the same characters, but they'll add new ones along the way just to freshen it up while also keeping it easy to go into. And I think that'd be great. I'd love to see more of Simon and Doric. And I don't think we'll see that much of Chris Pine.
Oh no! Bear in mind, this is gonna be a show which tries to steer clear of Chris Pine.
Yeah.
If anything, it'll be what they did. While the big stars, like they won't have. Maybe they'll have Hugh Grant in it. I don't know. They might not.
No, he went.
I feel like it'd be like a movie which focuses on
Let's film
Simon.
episodes. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry, episodes. It'd be a show which focuses on Simon, maybe what he did during the 2 years, what he got.
I don't know.
Like
I don't think it's gonna be before. I think it's definitely gonna be after.
It's gonna be after.
100% after. Why would they go?
And if anything,
why would they do a prequel?
be,
Why would they do a prequel to Dungeons and Dragons? Honor Among Thieves.
Bro, I don't know. I'm trying to think of what they could do with it.
It's a sequel. It's a sequel. Confirmed sequel.
Yeah, it's a sequel, but they can't have Chris Pine.
Yeah, so they just put Simon and Doric as the goddamn shipping couple, and that's it. There you go. The furries are on the side now.
Are you? Oh, gross! I knew that was gonna come up.
Bro, she had a tail. She had a tail in the movie and horns. You know they're on board already.
Come up. Yeah, I knew that was gonna come up. I fucking knew it.
Yeah,
I hate the fact that I was like, this is gonna be said. This is gonna be said.
Yeah, obviously it's gonna come up.
Obviously it was gonna come up. She's got a tail and horns on.
Bro,
didn't you like it? Didn't you like it?
Yeah, Hugh Hubert even said he has to see the movie. He knows it's gonna bring the fans in. And if there's a TV show like that, oh,
that's disgusting. Don't ever want to think like that again.
That's the only way you gotta think going. That's how you.
Think about it. This is how you bring them in. This is how you bring in the big stars.
And I can
bring in all the viewers.
I can see Michelle Rodriguez coming back for like an episode.
Oh yeah, no, I could see Chris Pine. I could see Hugh Grant coming back for an episode.
The entire cast just comes back for the entire show.
Nah, I do not see Chris Pine on a fucking Paramount Plus show.
Bro, it's Paramount Plus.
Oh, they're bringing that moolah, aren't they? Like the 10 people who are like subscribed to Paramount Plus.
What even?
Actually, yeah, that's a big question.
Jeremy Renner is on goddamn Paramount Plus. He's got his own show with 2 seasons. They can get Jeremy Renner. They can get Chris Pine.
That's a good question, actually. They bring out a Dungeons and Dragons show. Are you gonna pay for the Paramount Plus?
I'm getting a free trial, definitely. There's definitely some free trial. I'm watching it.
They're definitely gonna do a week by week kind of business.
Yeah, I'm watching it at the end when it all comes out.
Oh fucking!
I have to. You have to. If it's Dungeons and Dragons, you have to.
No, I don't, man. No,
yeah, you have to.
No, I don't. I'm perfectly content.
It's good because we can instantly review Paramount Plus and how shit it is, and we can also instantly tie into Dungeons and Dragons, our favorite show or movie. This is it.
God fucking damn it. The amount of shit for the fucking movie, the amount of ads, the amount of TikToks, the amount of Snapchats, the amount of Instagrams, the amount of fucking trailers I've seen for that movie. Imagine what the show is going to be like at Paramount Plus.
Oh my god, that's gonna be goated.
I'm telling you now, it's going to be a flagship show for Paramount Plus.
Oh yeah. Easily.
Like we're never going to be able to get away from goddamn fucking Dungeons and Dragons, the TV show.
It's just got like 10 seasons.
I'm telling you now, and they're going to put a stupid fucking name in it as well. Like Honor Amongst Thieves, it makes sense for the movie, but it's still a stupid title. Kind of reminds me of the game. What's the name of the pirate game on Xbox? Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
Reminds you of that.
You brought up a good point. The new Avatar show is coming. Is going to be on Paramount Plus. Well, Paramount Studios are working on it, so I assume it's going to be on Paramount Plus. It's the one with the Earth Avatar after Korra, not the young. I don't know if it's. I know there's a lot of Avatar stuff going on now. There's the live action Avatar show on Netflix. There's the Avatar show after Korra, and then there's also the young adult, like gang, GAANG, and they'll all be on Paramount Plus. Damn, Paramount Plus is their place to be in 2 years. All I'm saying. Dungeons and Dragons and Avatar.
Really getting spoiled here, aren't we? Thank you, big corpo Paramount. Please feed us more. Feed us more.
Damn, the original Paramount. Oh yeah, bro, they have the best thing. The offer. Wait. The offer. What's it?
I forgot about
the offer. The offer.
I forgot about the offer.
Oh
my god.
The offer with. Oh my god! I'm blanking on his name. With Dan Fogler. The offer, his masterpiece.
Prick, man. Prick.
It comes right back around.
I never see that fella in another acting fucking gig again, man. He deserves the worst.
Dan Fogler, everyone's favorite actor. Oh god, he actually looks like a psychopath though. I hate that man.
He is a psycho, man. He genuinely believes he's better than everyone else.
He actually comes to Comic-Con and laughs when there's not enough people in the audience for him.
Wow, this is nothing like LA.
Yeah, he was like, oh wow, it's so busy. When there's literally like no one there. Like 50 people there. They're like kind of happy to see him.
Not even, man. There's not even 50
oh yeah,
people
people
there.
are leaving. Like, people, like, we were there for like 10 minutes. People left earlier.
Motherfuckers did not want to see this guy.
We were seeing ads for this movie back then. Or was that something different?
Is there a reason we went to Dan Fogler? Is there a reason?
He was the only good guy there.
Oh, he was. Yeah, actually, yeah. Fuck, he was the only.
He was the only like renowned actor.
It's bad when Sean from
Red Dead was the
best. Was better than him.
The side character from Red Dead 2 is actually the GOAT.
Yeah, literally a side character, and that's all they talk about, just him being a side character.
Oh yeah. So I mean, the ending of the movie is also good. It's predictable, obviously, but it's just fun. Like nothing that blows your socks off, but fun action, fun CGI.
I feel like with that, we decide final scores.
I think 80%.
See, we gotta account in multiple things. Overall quality of the movie is good.
Yeah.
It's not amazing.
No.
It's not great. It's good.
Yeah.
Acting is good.
Yeah.
For one or two characters, they surprised me. I'd say very good.
Uh-huh.
Chris Pine actually surprised me in this movie.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like Hugh Grant, he didn't surprise me because I knew he's a good actor, but
yeah,
he was still good.
He tried.
He tried. He tried. I feel like Bradley Cooper bringing him in was also a very good move. I thought he was.
Oh, we forgot. I really quickly got to mention the fat dragon. The fat dragon sequence.
That was funny.
That was so good. They go into this really quickly. They go into this lair, try to get that huge helmet, and they take it. But it's a tripwire, and what's gonna come out? Oh my god, it's a dragon! Run! but it's a huge upright dragon that can't fly, so it's sliding around down the hill and like trying to catch him. It's so funny. And I have to mention this. The way they escape is great. So they're escaping and they get caught in this dead end, and it's too narrow for the dragon to get in, but his head gets in. So the dragon, he doesn't want to like shoot fire because he's gonna explode all of them, and he also can't seem to like ignite his mouth because the dragon like shoots. The way dragons tend to do it is they breathe out like gas and then they ignite in their mouth, but they can't seem to do it, and it's filling up with water. So they have to quickly they have to think of something or they're all gonna drown. Chris Pine tells Simon to. By the way, Hubert, Simon looks just like you. But anyway, I'll move on. He lifts up his finger, and Chris Pine tells him to do the fire trick that he did in the church. And what he does is he lifts up his finger, and all he can do is do a little candle. But they agitate the dragon so that he breathes gas, and then it sets up like the place and helps them escape because they're covered in water, so they don't get burned. Anyway, that's all I wanted to mention. You can go on.
It's definitely, yeah, no, that was a nice scene, and it was definitely like a smart scene as well. Like the way they utilized the dragon as well.
Yeah.
And, the little party trick, whatever. We'll continue on with what we were saying. Acting was good. One or two characters I consider very good. I thought the cameos were great. Visual effects were amazing.
Yeah.
Visual effects carry this movie. Make it, I'd say visual effects, 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Everything so far has been a 6, maybe a 7 for me, but the visual effects in this movie is a 9 out of 10, maybe a 9.5 out of 10, because it is genuinely a beautiful film to watch, which is weird for Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, it's so
and amongst Thieves, this movie is like strikingly beautiful.
Yeah.
Looks old-timey, but yet mystical, which is very weird. I feel like a lot of Marvel movies should take note of what they're doing in this fucking movie.
Marvel movies should take note. Like this does not look generic in the slightest.
Like, it looks so simple, but yet so effective.
Yeah.
It felt otherworldly, yet still tied to our own world. It was very different. It didn't look like, what we perceived as the world, but it's based on Earth. I thought they locked in the whole fantasy world kind of side of it, which was very good.
I do. Before we go to ratings, I do want to ask, who was your favorite character?
A favorite character?
I think it's a tough one.
It's kind of hard not to choose Edkin, considering he's the main character, isn't it?
I'm not really a fan of choosing the main character as the favorite character. See, Edkin was great though. I really don't know.
I'm not choosing Simon. Simon's the goofy answer.
Simon's the goofy character, and I mean, he's not my favorite, but he's funny. He's goofy. Actually, Zank. Oh, we didn't talk about Zank. He was a lot better than I thought he was going to be, and that's about it.
Yeah, no, that's really all you can say for him.
He was NPC. He was the NPC guy. That was one of the best jokes. When he's walking away, and he keeps on walking in a straight line, and he walks over the rock, and he's keep on walking.
Damn, there he goes, just walking in a straight line. Oh no, he's gonna have to turn now for the rock. Oh no, never mind, he just walks over. He was casual fantasy NPC guy. He's literally someone you'd insert into the game just to help you out, and he leaves.
As a character, probably Chris Pine, but visually for the movie, like, which character I think helped the movie the most, I'd say it's Doric, just for the cinematography and the CGI. But I do think Chris Pine was the best character.
Chris Pine was the best character. That's why he's my favorite. He was the best character.
He's my goat.
He is the goat of the Dungeons and Dragons universe.
So now that you rated all the different aspects, what would you give it?
No, we didn't rate the most important thing.
Oh yeah,
villains.
Oh, I'm gonna say rewatchability, but okay.
Villains. Well, rewatchability we already talked about.
Did we?
Yeah, we said it was a very rewatchable movie.
That's but do we compare it to? Actually, yeah. I'll you talk about the villains, and I have one more thing, and then the ratings.
All right. I think for the most part, the villains are very well. Barry Hugh Grant, the villains are very standoffish. Just dark wizards. They're just, what is it, red wizards?
Yeah,
Oh,
generic.
just,
Very generic.
who the fuck cares? I thought the final battle between them all, the Factor one was able to like withstand the 1v5. That was pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
I thought the fight scene was pretty cool. But yet again, it just felt like typical NPC fodder villain. So I'd give, that's probably the lowest rating for me. Bar Hugh Grant, just villains in general, 5 out of 10. Just bang out average, bang out mid. Main boss as well wasn't up to much. The fact that she was able to be countered so fucking easy by just the gold is coming out of fucking Hugh Grant's mouth. Let's go, and he just left us. How did she not think of it though? How did she not think of maybe I'll block the door? She has all these fucking Goombas, all these fucking chums who do nothing. Bear in mind, in the flashback scene.
Yeah.
In the flashback scene when your man's like the main guy.
She could
Zaz Tam or whatever his name is.
She could have kept the spell going, I guess. Yeah. She
not even kept the spell going because supposedly it's supposed to be very hard to do. Oh my god, it's such a difficult spell. Whatever. Bear in mind, your man Zaz Tam had his dark, like his red wizards or whatever, forming like barricades with their spells to stop people from getting out.
Yeah, but people were running and the mist was still chasing after them.
Still though, would you not have some fucking Goombas lock the doors? That just doesn't make sense to me.
Oh yeah, no,
literally, she has control over Hugh Grant, who is like the lord of this area. If you just asked the guards to lock the doors, they'd fucking lock the doors. Why didn't she do that? If she had done that, she would have had the entire fucking stadium. Would have been a completely different movie.
Too stupid. Don't ask too many questions in Dungeons and Dragons.
I know, yeah, but that was the only thing which I was a bit like, what the fuck about? Like, that is so goofy. That is stupid. Anyway, we continue on. Villains 5 out of 10. Rewatchability. Overall rewatchability of the movie, which is a massive part of the movie success. I'd give it an 8 out of 10.
I do want to mention. I think it's very important about this movie is to compare it with just like with everything else. This movie comes out in 2023. You know, movies. People do think that movies have gotten worse over the last couple of years, which I don't really agree with, but there's definitely a bit of truth to it. And I do want to compare it to what else has come out this year. And this year so far, this movie beats Creed 3, and in everything, by the way. And in John Wick 4. I'd say it beats it considerably in rewatchability. As a movie, it's maybe a bit worse, but as a whole package, it's probably on the same level. It's scary to know, but this movie will probably be the benchmark for every other movie that comes out this year. And I think that makes this movie even better.
Yeah, it's the threshold movie. Yeah. Like, it's either you're worse or you're better than Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah. You know?
Ant-Man, Jesus Christ.
Oh, Ant-Man pales in comparison to Dungeons and Dragons, which is very shit to say. Get pales in comparison.
Yeah. So final question: how much would you give it?
Overall, after talking about it, after dissecting it, after giving it all the ratings, whatever, I feel like it'd be harsh to say anything less than 70%.
I think.
Put it in the moist meter now. Put it in the moist meter.
I think
70%.
Moist meter wise, I'd give it an 80. And I think you have to go with a
law of averages here.
So 75. If we average out our two opinions.
Would you say the villains are above 7 out of 10?
No. Well, I think everything else is above, 9.
Above 8? Above 9?
Visuals, 9.
The acting, above 9?
8.
That means excellent.
And the acting is like a 7.5. When the visuals, then, a 9.5 then.
Out of everything I said... Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Alright. We can agree.
It's very easy to say, oh, you know, this movie is dog. This
Yeah,
movie
it's
is
very
bullshit.
easy to go, oh, this movie's the worst. Yeah, it sucks ass. I hate this. I hate this. I hate this.
This movie sucks ass. This movie's dog. This movie's shit. Give it a 9 out of 10. Yet again, you have to average out your answers here. Mine are consistently 7. I have 1 9 and I have 1 5, so that does average out to 7 again. So I think
mine are 7, 7, 7, and 9, and like a 9. How does that not average to 8?
7, 7, 7, 9, and you also gave. Oh, did you give a 6
No, I never give anything from
For
this
the
movie
villains.
lower than a 6. No,
for the villains?
no, it's 7. It's fine.
The bad guys,
It's not 6.
the red wizards,
It's bad. It's as good as the Drive villains. That's all I'll say.
the Drive villains.
Drive is not that good of a movie as you think. Drive is not that good of a movie as you think.
Drive is a good movie, man.
I'm gonna say it. This movie's better than Drive.
Blasphemy.
I see this movie over Drive. 8 out of 10. That's it.
Blasphemy right now, right here.
Drive is. I love slow burn movies. Drive is an hour and 40 and it feels like 3 hours. I've never had it that bad. I've never had it with scenes with Ryan Gosling staring out into the sun, thinking, man, I'm so lonely. I want this girl. No, I'm done.
Women.
I'm done. I'm done. 8 out of 10. That's the truth.
Right, I think with that, folks, thank yous again. It's been a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Dungeons and Dragons, good movie. Definitely go check it out.
Definitely. With that, thank you very much for sharing, subscribing. Thank you, Hubert, once again for popping into the stream and chatting. I don't think we have any bots in the chat anymore. We did have someone bring in some scam, which I banned them. Thank you very much. So see you all next week. Bye.